Dr. Renee. I've been using Thinks period panties for about almost 5 years now. I absolutely love that. First and foremost, because I'm not wasting money and gas going to the store to get pads, and I wasn't really a tampon user. I used them very rarely, so that's my biggest thing. Secondly, the way that pads feel, like you're always reminded it's there because you can feel it. I felt like I had a diaper on. I felt like everyone knew I was on my cycle because they bulged, because I'm a heavy bleeder. That's another good thing that you need to know. The third thing is they're great for the environment. And of course, along with saving money, I'm not ruining any clothes. I'm not ruining underwear. I'm not ruining my clothes because of the leakage, nothing. It's free bleeding and it's so amazing. No one would know I'm on my cycle unless I tell them. There's no odor, there's no leakage, and they're wonderful. And if you would like to try them out, $10 off using my link, and there is a money back guarantee. If it doesn't work out for you, you can do that as well. But I promise if you try it, you'll fall in love with it. And there's a lot of other options out there. As a matter of fact, Thinks even has other options that you could check out. Check out the website, shethinks.com/Renee, RENEE. Bye. Lifetime Television on April 11th, which is Saturday. And today on the Ask Dr. A show, we have the director, Christine Swanson. If you watched the show, you've seen she was on probably, I think it was around November of last year, and she told us about this wonderful project, and now it's finally here. There's been lots of teasers for months, but finally we get to see it. I'm so excited because we are Detroiters, I'm excited. Because she's my friend, I'm excited. So I can't wait. Plus, I've heard about the making of for so long. So I'm really excited just to see the final product and to hear the story because, we saw the unsung, because they did have an unsung. And, we know a little bit, but to see, I think, because I don't know a lot of the earlier part, I'm very excited to see. So welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So everyone, please, first bet, we have to take care of the logistics. Please like and share the post. If you're on LinkedIn, if you're on Facebook, in the group, Facebook, on Facebook, my page, and Ask Dr. Renee, and then Periscope. Thank you so much. And then LinkedIn. Thank you, LinkedIn. So everyone, please, if you have any comments, please post them. We will do our best to see them and answer them. But so you get this project, and hi, Dr. Kelly. So you get this amazing project. As a Detroiter, what did that mean to you?
That was one of the main reasons why I wanted to do it, because I felt I was obligated, like as a Detroiter, to apply my show. I can see you. Hello?
Yes. Okay. You froze up, so I couldn't hear what you were saying.
Okay.
So, okay. Now it's better.
Okay. So I just wanted to contribute my talents as an act of service so that I can help the Clark sisters show up beautifully in the way that they deserved.
Now, I know just like a lot of us know, as soon as everyone heard the Clark sisters was going to be on Lifetime, everyone had a thought.
Okay.
That wasn't a positive thought because they didn't like the way they did Aaliyah, who also is from Detroit. There was I think it was supposed to be a Bobby Brown movie, that movie that they did, that everyone, people weren't so excited about. I'm sure you didn't take any of that into consideration because I know that you approach all your work to give it your best. So you didn't let any of that deter you or influence you?
Not at all. Like doesn't matter it doesn't matter the outsource, so to speak, because I always treat it as my project. So didn't matter if it was Lifetime, BET, OWN. I was still going to make the movie that I was going to make regardless. And I think I still did that on many levels.
Yes. Awesome. So,
I have to tell you though, Lifetime was very supportive and gave me a lot of resources to play with. So I don't know what the deal is with whatever people might think about Lifetime.
Or maybe it was just the people who did those projects.
Exactly.
Because like you said, I mean, I've seen a lot of great things on Lifetime, but
then there was some, slips in there too. But,
Sure.
so I think maybe it was the people that did the project. So start from the beginning. Now, I know that first of all, does everyone know that all of the ladies in the movie actually sang for themselves? There is no lip syncing. They actually sang the songs.
Yeah.
So how did you start with getting women? And they also actually very much favor the women too that they play. How did you get people that could sing like that? Because to sing like a Clark sister is not something you can easily do.
Well, I collaborated early on with Donald Lawrence. And once I had the idea, like something in my gut told me that I need to not dub this movie with vocals because I felt in my gut it would not properly honor the legacy of great gospel singers that the Clark sisters are. So I happened to be in a working relationship with a singer that I knew that we were working together on a project anyway. And I knew how amazing she was as a vocalist. And she kind of happened to look like Dorinda, So I asked Donald Lawrence, I said, listen, what if I cast real singers? So what would that look like? And can you work with that? And him being the great collaborator that he was like, yes, I think I can do that, but I need minimally 3 voices. So if you can give me 3 voices, I can create the blend. I said, great, I have 1, right? And then that was the actress who played Dorinda. And then when first time I met Kiera, I knew in my gut, I was like, girl, you are your mama. So, and I knew Kiera is an amazing vocalist too. So, boom, I had 2, right? And then once I convinced the network to let me cast those 2, and how that worked was I had the Dorinda actress fly to Detroit, and I met Kiera in Detroit. So we were at Kiera's church, her dad's church, Bishop Sheard's church, and I told both of them, go sit down at the piano and sing. And then I videotaped them singing, and I sent that to the producers, and they sent that to the network, and the network was like, oh my gosh, cast them. So that's how those 2 got cast. And once they were cast, we went back to the drawing board with the casting director, and we were able to find the young lady, Christina Bell, who played Twinkie, and we cast her. And those were the 3 main voices that I needed. Christina Bell is a gospel singer in her own right. She was
she's from Detroit.
Is she? I think she's from,
right.
Is she? I'm not sure.
I thought only because I started following her after I found out about her. I think that she's from Detroit.
Okay. Well, so you have 3 gospel singers. Kiera's a gospel singer. Christina is the one who played Twinkie, is a gospel singer. And of course, Shalea Frazier, who played Dorinda, comes from a gospel tradition, and she still plays music for her church. So we had 3 bona fide gospel singers who are also amazing singers in their own right. And you bring those voices together, then Donald Lawrence had the tools he needed to create the sound. And then we were able to cast the young lady who played Jackie, Angela Burchett, she's from Detroit. Angela's from Detroit. Yes.
And, okay.
And so she's a Broadway singer.
Right. So she was in Color Purple, right?
Yes, she was. And that was like the cherry on top. So we had 4 amazing singers, and with those vocal choices, we created the sound. And I'm sure you've heard pieces of it, and they sound amazing. And the Clark sisters were like, they sound better than us. So that's not easy to do. That's not, and we did it, and Donald did it. And I believe that will be one of the hallmarks of this film, is that if nothing else, like
it sounds good.
It sounds amazing. And I'm very proud of that.
Awesome. And so Shalea, who is just amazing, and she has a funny story. I've watched a lot of interviews now, and her funny story was that she showed up at somebody's house, and a little child said that she looked like Dorinda Clark, and it was like the niece or nephew of Dorinda Clark. So I thought that was too cute.
It was
And-
Kira's niece and nephew. They were at the church, and they were just all climbing over Shalea, like just hugging her, and they're like, "You look like Auntie Dodo," and like, I mean, who's gonna refute that? From the mouth of the babes, And,
exactly.
yeah, and I knew Shalea could do this role, and even though she had never acted before, I knew that she could kill it, and I think she did. And I'm very proud of her.
So, how the movie is just a one-night thing, right?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. And so once you
series, because there's so much story to tell about each and every one of them.
That's why I asked, because I couldn't remember, but I really felt like it probably should have been more than one night.
Yeah, but
because you have so many different personalities and different stories of each daughter.
Yeah.
Let alone the mother too. Yeah.
It's so much, but I think we did enough to give people a taste of what the sisters were about. So at the very least, people will know about the Clark sisters and their amazing story and their unique talent and what they mean culturally to music, Black music and American music. Like because of what they did, they pretty much developed the sound of gospel music that we hear today. Nobody was doing what the Clark sisters were doing back then, and they did it themselves. Like they didn't have music producers,
right?
Their mama and their uncle. They all play their own instruments. They all wrote their own songs. They were incubated within Detroit, and they created the sound that they created that pretty much laid the groundwork for gospel music as we know it.
And so, so how did you get to Dr. Maddie Moss Clark? Ingenue, I've heard, did a phenomenal job. And I actually just watched her on The Help. I watched The Help a couple times the other day, as in like Saturday.
A couple times?
So I was looking for something, and because I'm always busy doing 20 things when I'm trying to watch stuff, I was like, you done missed it. You got to watch it again. So I watched it again.
Okay. So she was one of the go-to actresses that the network wanted to to lead the movie. So I met her once she was cast on the movie. So once we started working together, though, it was like the earth shook. And I'm like, wow, what is this? And we really complimented each other and pushed each other and I believe created something that will be memorable forever in terms of what she did in her portrayal of Maddie Moss Clark. And when you're dealing with somebody who, it's like when you have Michael Jordan on your team, your job is to either get him the ball or move out of the way when he has the ball.
Right.
So that was kind of like my approach with Ingenue, create the space so she can score. And, and we had fun. We had so much fun doing that.
So the movie is The Clark Sisters. It's going to be on Lifetime on Saturday evening. So somebody asked, did the movie have extras from Detroit and other local stars they should look for? But it wasn't filmed in Detroit, though, so.
It was filmed in Toronto, Canada. So the extras were Canadians, but they were great. I had a great Canadian crew, and we made it work. We made it work. I mean, sometimes you want so many different things, but you have to use the tools that you have in front of you. And one of the things that we really wanted was the Detroit location, but Detroit does not have tax credits. So Detroit needs to work on creating
anymore. You mean anymore?
They need to
Because we did.
They need to bring those back, and you will have productions coming to Detroit in a heartbeat. So that's a government thing that they need to figure out.
Well, I will say that the new governor, even though the man in the big house doesn't like to correctly title her Governor Whitmer, who is a proud Michigan State Spartan like myself, I'm sure, she has a little bit much on her hands right now, but I'm sure eventually she will get that coming back, because that was horrible. Because there was so many things being produced in Detroit at one point in time. If you guys remember, Sparkle was done in Detroit with a whole bunch of Detroit extras. I knew a lot of people that were in Sparkle, including one of my clients and her mother. So, so yeah, I'm sure. And then they started actually building studios in Detroit. So hopefully we can get all of that coming back again.
I think it's necessary, and especially I think we need to reassess what's happening in Detroit, and I would love to help that happen. When they create tax incentives, jobs will come to Detroit, and people will be able to get experience and training in an industry doing jobs that they're capable of doing today, and paying jobs. So that needs to happen, and I need to shoot a movie in Detroit. So that
and honestly, from what's going on in the world right now, it's probably would be a very good idea, to help to get over this mess that they did do that now.
Chicago, in Chicago, look how robust the production industry is, and how gainfully employed people are, and it's really a big part of the economic survival of a lot of people who live in Chicago. Same thing can happen in Detroit.
So my friend who lives in Atlanta, she is a Detroiter, Amara. I know you missed the very beginning. She is a Detroiter, and that is why we are trying to encourage Detroit. We know Atlanta has a whole lot of filming going on in it too.
No, listen, we need to make this happen for Detroit. So I'm working with a playwright. Her name is Dominic Morsall, and she's from Detroit. She wrote "Ain't Too Proud," the musical. That was
okay.
Yeah, and we go back and forth about trying to stir something up creatively, and I will be a part of that, because I'm from Detroit. I'm a product of Detroit, and I want to come back and give back and plant something so that others can thrive in this industry. And that's what I love about the Clark sisters. They never left Detroit. They're all around the world doing what they're doing, successful and what have you, but they are still in the community and pillars in terms of what they give and how they inspire others in the community. So I just love them for so many reasons, but that's one of the things that I'm so compelled by.
And it's the Lifetime, the teasers that they've been doing since before 2020, even in last year in 2019 they started. They've been doing them with well-known R&B artists who talk about the influence that the Clark sisters had on them. And I mean, people you probably didn't even think, like Missy Elliott, nobody would have thought necessarily that the Clark sisters influenced her music, but they influenced her music. Escape did Is My Living in Vain on their very first album. So I mean, they it's amazing their reach. It like I said, all sorts of genres of music, and everyone's like, oh yeah, the Clark sisters, and I mean, white, black, in between. It's like, wow.
Well, that's the lasting legacy of Maddie Moss Clark, who she saw that in them before they saw it in themselves. And she made sure that those women now reach their potential by instilling a sense of excellence and teaching them the tools so that they could be self-sustaining by using those musical gifts that God implanted in them that Maddie Moss Clark nurtured.
So How do you, I mean, I've been blessed. I got to go on set with Christine before. So I know that she takes her job very seriously and she's excellent at what she does. How did you, after you got, you got the people, how then did you, take, because I mean, it was a huge undertaking because, the whole city is watching. Besides the gospel industry, the Detroit is going to be watching. So how do you, how did you approach it and then execute, to make sure that it, that the ladies understood? I'm sure that all of the women that were in it, because they were gospel singers, they understood the ramifications of what they were doing. Not to mention, I know it's very difficult when you have live people that you're actually, doing a movie about. But you're no amateur to that, because you did do the Mickey Howard story, and Mickey, as we all know, is living and breathing. And so, so how did you approach it? I mean, do you approach it just like the Mickey Howard story? Because she, of course, was another very strong vocalist too, with a whole, with a really big story.
Well, I kind of understood early on that my job was not to be like the visionary per se of this project, which I am, like low key, but high key, I'm like, I was the conduit. Like I was the conduit for these women's stories to surface. So I just was very precious about each of their desires to have their story told in ways that pleased them. So I asked each of them, like one time, I was like, what is your testimony? Share with me what you want people to walk away from, in regards to the story. And I always just kept that in my at the tip of my toolbox, so that so it was never about me per se, but it was always about how do I make sure that they shine and they show up. So that was always at the forefront of my mind. And then just working with Anjanou Ellis, and in terms of what she was doing in shaping like the matriarch that's Maddie Moss Clark, it became obvious, like, okay, this is the direction we're flowing in. And then it became about
Oh, you froze again. Okay. Uh-oh. She's frozen.
to sustain their family. It's so at the heart of the story, it's about a mother's love for her children. Now I can relate to that.
Of course.
Right. As a mother of 4 children myself. And then it became about ambition. And I can relate to that, trying to come up in an industry in a way. Okay, it was about understanding who you are in terms of gifts that God implanted in you, and how you operate in those gifts in the world while still honoring God. So it's a message of deep, profound faith that the Maddie Moss Clark adhered to, and the sisters still live by, which is what makes them so beautiful and inspiring to me. They walk the walk, they live the life. What more can you ask of people,
Right.
than to be authentic in who they are, and to be deeply in service for the God that we serve. I'm after that, I'm just like, I'm going home. Like, wow, this is it's life altering for me in many ways. And time will tell, but I know that they have made an indelible mark in my life in ways that they'll never understand, and then I'm still trying to walk it out too in my own life, and that's that fine line between being in the world and not of the world.
Right.
And, they really display that in a way that made me pay attention.
So the movie, so what blew me away was I didn't know it was 5. I thought it was 4. So I'm like, I really need to hurry up and see the movie because I was like, clearly something happened there.
Well, you know, family dynamics.
Right, exactly.
Stuff happens, and life is not drama free, and we went there and dealt with the drama, and it makes for good storytelling.
Right.
It makes for introspection in terms of things that cause heartbreak in family dynamics, but it makes for great dialogue in terms of discussing healing and reconciliation, whatever the outcome may be, you know?
Definitely. Once again, if you guys have any questions, we are with Christine Swanson, director of the Clark Sisters, which will air Saturday night on Lifetime Television. And if you have questions, please post them in the comments. And I think if you're on Periscope and Facebook, I should be able to see them. And actually, I have linked in my iPad here. So if you post any of those places, I should be able to see them. So just let me know. Kelly Redmond is watching. She said, you know, I love and support your work.
I love Kelly Redmond. How are you?
Me too. Thank you, Kelly, for watching. So, how long did you guys take to film this movie?
I would say cumulatively, we shot for like 20 days, and then we prepped for another 20 days. So maybe 40 days, you know, for production, you know, and then, you know, editing afterwards.
So there's a question. What was the hardest scene to film or most emotional scene to get through?
Well, oh my goodness, we had a few emotional scenes, and like, for me personally, like, let me see, with planning, nothing is that hard to shoot. You get it. So it wasn't like anything that was hard to physically shoot, beyond, like, you know, stuff we had to do outside in the wintertime in the freezing cold, you know, that's hard shooting outside, when it's snowing and we're in a snowstorm and it's Toronto, Canada, and I'm cold. So, you know, that kind of hardship. But some of the more emotional scenes you'll see them in the movie, and you know, well, I don't know if I'm giving stuff away, but there was a scene between Maddie and Twinkie, and it's so emotionally wrought that as we were shooting, like, the crew had broken down in tears, you know, and they were so affected by what was happening. And it was tough because it required so much emotional energy from the actors, but they just brought it every time. And I would say, like, Anjanou is like just masterful in what she does, and eliciting response from people that she acts with. And that's what you want from a great actor, is like, give your partner, you know, work and something to respond to in ways that matches the emotional intensity of what's going on. And so that was one scene there. And there was another scene where, oh my gosh. Well, you know, in real life, Maddie Moss Clark died. So let's just say the movie dies.
Yeah, of course. We know that.
Okay. That scene was, it was emotionally hard, but it was so beautiful. It was so beautiful. And you'll see. Yeah. So those two scenes that required a lot of that were wrought with emotions and tears, and those were the two main scenes I thought were the hardest in terms of emotions. But we had a lot of moments. We had a lot of great moments that I shot, and you'll see.
Now, the Christina Bell, was she an actress?
Not a TV or film actress. I think she had done some stage work.
Okay.
So yeah. So they were all fairly new to acting. Kira, I mean, like whatever they did before, they weren't known as actresses. Like Leia, this was her first acting role with lines. You know?
Okay.
Yeah, so they were all new to this kind of acting. Kira, yeah, even the young lady who played Jackie, I think she had done a couple small TV roles, but as a main character in a movie, I think she was new to that. The only one who's seasoned was Raven Goodwin. You know,
and Ingenue, of course.
Well, I mean, I meant in terms
of the daughters. I got you.
Yeah, Ingenue obviously is.
Yeah.
You know, she's like an Oscar level actor. I don't understand why she doesn't have an Oscar yet, but she'll get one. I hope in her lifetime because she's really one of the best actresses of her generation. And I think in the fact that I think she is a household name because we all know her because she's been around for a long time. But she's not like industry because she lives in friggin' Mississippi. Yeah. So, you know, she ain't in the mix 24/7, but every time she shows up, everybody's like, oh my gosh, she's a beast. And she is, you know.
I think you'll write the project and then she'll get an Oscar.
Oh, hey, from your mouth to God's ears, put it out there. Yes. I'm in agreement. Tell Kelly Redmond to pray on that.
Yes. Everyone is saying she is a bomb actress. She should get an Oscar. Yeah. Kelly agrees with you. She should get an Oscar. So, and Raven, for you guys that don't know, Raven is Gabrielle Union's niece in Being Mary Jane, or was because the show is no longer. But that was her niece in Being Mary Jane, Niecy. So Raven, obviously, she's been doing that. She's been acting quite a while, actually. Raven.
Yeah, when Raven was 12 years old, she starred in a feature film that I did called All About Us that starred Boris Kojo and Ruby Dee. And Raven played a part in it. So this is my second time working with Raven.
So you guys, especially now that most of us are on lockdown, her movies are all on Amazon Prime. Mm-hmm. And you can look them up by her name or the titles, All About Us and All of You, right?
All About
You and All About Us.
Yeah.
So, and which one goes first?
All About You.
All About You, then All About Us. So you'll see there's kind of a tie-in. Mm-hmm. So you should watch them in that order, but they are excellent. And like she said, Boris Kojo's in one. And who was the star of the other one?
All About You?
Yeah.
Starred Renee Elise Goldsberry. Yeah. And Debbie Allen, Lisa Ray, you know, just a great cast. Yeah. It's a musically driven film, and something about music. I love music, and I think that's why I'm so drawn to these biopics about singers. I'm seriously. So I'm like, at this point, I just need to do my musical. So.
Okay. No, I love music too. I tell people that there is a song for every part of my life. Like,
that's right.
There is a song that represents, me and my sister, as a matter of fact, we used to mute our TV when we played Nintendo.
Right.
So there are songs that the two of us, we could be in two totally different states.
Right.
And if we hear one of the songs, we will call each other and say Super Mario 2.
Oh.
Because we don't even remember really what the songs on the game sounded like. We remember what played on WJLB because that's what we would listen to when we were playing.
Yep.
Yeah. So music is everything. When I moved overseas, my mother thought I was crazy because I packed up all my CDs.
Oh.
But this was before MP3s. I lived in St. Martin.
Oh wow.
And she was like, but Renee, you can't take. I said, but Mom, if I leave one and I need it, because like I said, this is before MP3s. Like,
how long did you live there?
I lived there 2 years.
Oh wow, wasn't it beautiful? You lived in paradise.
It was
nice.
Although our lovely island of Antigua is far better, but we have 365 beaches.
Okay.
Yeah. You have to go to Antigua. It's the bomb.
Okay, I will.
But yeah, St. Martin, I moved and my mother was like, remember those big CD wallets? I had one of those and it was full. So at least I left the cases, but I had all the CDs with the booklets. And
I get it.
And my luggage was always overweight. And I was like, but I have to. I was like, when I am in a certain mood, I need to be able to throw on whatever it is I need to hear at that moment. My mom's not a music person, so she didn't get it. My dad is. And so he's like, okay. Yeah. And so we figured out pretty quickly on that if we curbside checked in and we tipped the bellhop, not the bellhop, but the person there, they would make sure that my overweight bag would get on the plane.
Nice.
So my dad and I would always, that was our little thing. Cause I was like, Daddy, I can't leave them at home. He's like, no, we'll take care of this. And so I always got them, and they never lost my luggage or anything. So I still have all of my CDs and then some, but yeah, music is very important. I think music is amazing. And Kelly said she loves Tehran's song Surprise from All About You.
Oh, yes. Yep.
She said she listens to it all the time.
Aww.
And Amara is talking about me and The Sound of Music because that is probably my absolute favorite musical of all time. Between Sound of Music and Mary Poppins, I just love Julie Andrews. But so the Clarks was that 2018 or 2019?
We started in December 2018 and shot through February 2019.
Okay, because I was like, I know it was so long ago. So I know I've seen people post this question. I don't know if you have an answer to it, but did Donald Lawrence actually put together a project with the voices of the actresses that's going to be released somewhere?
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay. I know I've seen a lot of people asking that question, and I was like, is there a soundtrack to it? I was like,
I don't know. He could,
Right.
I don't know the answer to that. That was never the goal, though.
Yeah. Oh, no, I'm sure. But I think that,
he could.
Right. They were so amazing.
Yeah.
Now, does Raven sing too or no?
Well, Raven came on board after we laid down their vocals as because as you always have to do that as for safety.
Gotcha.
But so we had those vocals already, and then when they were actually singing live, Raven was lip syncing. Raven was.
Okay.
But all the other girls were singing because they're singers. Raven was the only non-singer,
Okay.
So.
Gotcha. So what do you have in the pipeline? And first of all, how are you dealing with the craziness that is our world today?
Honestly, it's been a strange but welcome reprieve from life as we knew it. So, my husband, Michael's home every day, and he's like, they get their work done on their computers and through Zoom or what have you. But he's like, this is great. This is like a vacation, And when I'm not on set somewhere, I'm always home, working for my own office. And I'm kind of like, I don't think this is great for me because it's not quiet like I'm used to it. But I actually love spending time with all four of my kids and my husband 24/7. So it's not the best of circumstances in light of what's going on in the world. And especially what's going on in Detroit has been particularly hit by this.
Yeah, it's really sad to see, some very major players in the city have died. And it's like, oh my God.
It's bad. And I think it really speaks to some of the underlying economic disparities, I think, that are being exposed in Detroit, and how vulnerable people are who don't have access to the things that other people may have that could help them not die as frequently and in the high numbers that we're seeing.
And then also, I just have to give the caveat as a doctor. The other reason, because everyone's like, well, why are the numbers so skewed? Because even in Chicago, it's almost 70% of the people are Black that have died. Right. Then you look at New Orleans, the numbers are really high there too. Right. The problem is that when you have large metropolitan cities like Chicago, Detroit, New Orleans, there's a lot of Black people. Yeah. Two, unfortunately, we have a lot of those underlying conditions that we've talked about
Right.
over and over again.
Yes.
We have diabetes, we have obesity,
Yes.
and we have hypertension. Those are the three biggest problems that are going to give you problems if you get, besides the fact having lung disease.
Right.
Those are the three biggest issues that obviously plague our community, and they don't make for a good outcome if you end up with COVID-19, unfortunately.
Yeah, and then if you were to dig further into the systemic problems or issues that cause some of the underlying issues, again, I think that has to do with economic policy,
food deserts,
yes,
lack of insurance, and access to healthcare.
Yep. So, I think what this virus is doing is really exposing our vulnerabilities in ways that unfortunately are catastrophic. But when we get to the other side of this, I think there's a lot to unpack in terms of what we need to do to make sure that people aren't this vulnerable. American citizens aren't vulnerable in this way ever again.
Yeah. So I've heard from a lot of mothers, especially when you have children that are of a certain age, they've been cooking like crazy because kids are hungry all day. And since they can't go anywhere, they eat all day. Is that your reality?
I have definitely been cooking more than I have ever cooked in the last 10 years. Yes.
And she has 3 big boys. So,
and then we, when we can, we try to stock the fridge. And I heard the other night at 3:00 in the morning, my kids had a cooking contest, and I don't know what happened. All I know is that I woke up to a sink full of dishes. Like they did a cooking contest, but forgot to clean. So yeah, we are cooking, we are eating in ways that we haven't done in a while. And it's good and bad, it's good and bad. So sometimes I'm just like, thank God for Domino's. I'm like, just drop it off at the door.
Right.
And, that works too. But it's really different times we're living in.
Definitely. So what are you doing to practice self-care in this time? Because obviously you're not in the house like I am by myself. So how do you get to have a quiet moment and,
Well, fortunately, we have enough rooms where we don't have to stay on top of each other. So we're blessed with that. I have a swimming pool. So we're in Southern California. So every day I'm in that pool swimming. And it's just, it's great exercise for me. And it's practicing self-care. Like the other day I was in the pool for like 6 hours and my kids were like, get out of the pool already. And I'm like, no, I'm just going to sit. I just love to think and swim and just be in the water. I'm a water girl. So, and then I've been sleeping a lot. Like, it's like, what do you have to get up for?
No, and I've said that to people and they're like, what do you mean? I was like, it's Groundhog's Day, literally.
Girl, I'm getting my sleep on like 24/7 and I'm enjoying it. So, and I would love to say like, I'm writing, whatever. I'm kind of writing, but in my head. So I'm really formulating like what I want to do going forward. So, like I said, I have a musical that I've been trying to set up for 10 years. And after doing this movie about the Clark sisters, after working with Donna Lawrence, it's like, you know what? I'm ready to take that next step into doing something that's musically based, that's solely mine. So I'm setting that up as we speak.
Now, Donald Lawrence, did Lifetime bring him on or you did?
No, he was on board because before me, like he was the Clark sisters music producer, what I mean? They won their Grammys because of Donald.
Because of him, yes.
So no, he was already like on board with wherever the Clark sisters go, you'll see Donald Lawrence,
And Kelly asked, did the executive producers have any input, notes, or anything like that?
Well, early on, I was on phone calls with Queen Latifah as we were trying to get some elements of the project together. And when we needed support, like she was there to support us. So.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool beans. So what is in the pipeline for you besides this wonderful musical? That's the one I read, right?
2 seasons?
Yes. Okay. So so besides the musical, what else is in the pipeline, and how can my viewers support anything you have coming? Besides, they need to go to Amazon Prime and watch the movies that are there.
Yeah.
Oh, and she also has the Book of Ruth, which was on TV One. I'm sure you can find it somewhere now. And of course, the Mickey Howard story that was on TV One as well.
Yes. And I don't know if people access Hulu. I did the Chicago PD episode 608. 608, which I'm very proud of because one, I had a lot of fun shooting it. And two, I really had fun working with Leroyce, who's from Chicago,
Yep.
and Milana Jackson, who so I love that. And I love Milana, and I'm so looking forward to working with her again because she reminds me of a younger Anjanou Ellis. And when you have an opportunity to work with extraordinarily talented Black women, actresses like them, you're like, well, what else can I put them in? You know, it's like you just want to recycle greatness because why reinvent the wheel? So I have probably 4 films that I have written that are pretty much ready to go. And at any given time, I'll pull one out and I'm like, oh, I should do this one. And then look at what just happened. We're kind of living in a weird zombie apocalypse, you know? And like what I wanted to do before changes because it's like, no, in my heart, I think this is what the world needs, you know?
Gotcha.
So that's why I'm shifting. I had a legal, political, it was a legal thriller, suspense thriller. And then I just felt like it's time to shift to something else that is more in line with the messaging or the needs of the world right now. And it just led me back to my musical, you know? So those are the things I'm working on. So, and then I'm reading scripts for projects that other people want me to direct, and then as well as projects of my own, you know? So I have a lot on my plate in terms of what's possible. Girl, we don't know what's happening. So
I'm telling you.
I'm on standby, but I'm also enjoying life where it's happening now and today. So I'm good. And I just want to make sure that I remain a conduit for goodness going forward. So however the Lord leads in that way, I'm available. Sometimes it's be still and be available to your family, you know? So I'm enjoying the season of that right now. And not just enjoying, I'm reflecting and really taking in whatever it is that God wants me to see and hear and move with.
And what's the name of the movie with Erica Watson? That one people can find too.
Yeah, it's a short film, and it's hard to find because it's not out. So
okay.
Yeah, it's a short film that I did called Black Korea.
Yeah,
So.
that was very good too. The Chicago PD, it's 608?
Yes.
Okay. Because Kelly typed it in wrong. I want to make sure she got that. But you guys, it is the only episode where Kevin, if you watch the show, actually had a love interest, and it is really, really good. Anyone who watches the Chicago Med PD Fire, you will love that episode. It's very good. I was going to tell you this, but I'm just going to tell you out to everyone. You had suggested that, I bring you here to do a workshop. You should do it online.
Yeah, but no, because you came to my workshop.
No, remember I didn't, and you were like, "Well, bring me," because I said I don't know how to write. I can show you. I can teach you.
It's like a 10-hour class.
Okay.
And Oh, well, let's pray about it and see if I'm led to do that. But like I'm doing a lot on Zoom. Like I'm actually lecturing or speaking to a lot of classes for my colleagues. And
Oh, okay.
yeah, so I'm doing a little bit of that, but to actually teach, it requires a level of technical skill set that I don't have because I have to
Okay.
stop movies and so. But I'm happy to talk about writing anytime. So
Okay.
if you want to
Okay.
start a writers seminar, I'm happy to do that. But a writing workshop, I don't know yet. I don't know that I don't know.
Okay.
One day. Well, maybe one day, but I'm happy to talk about anything in this way. But I don't want to have to teach nothing because that's work. Well,
Okay.
I'm a professor already at the University of Georgia, so I'm teaching as we speak. I have scripts to read for my students, so I'm not just chilling. Let me rewind.
Right.
I'm not just swimming in my pool every day chilling. Actually, I'm working on jobs that I do have and commitments that I have. But I'm always amenable to being a resource for anybody who wants to have some knowledge or long distance mentorship in this format.
Kelly said, Christine Swanson, we are still going to do our workshops in LA. Would love to support online classes too.
Let me know.
But I was watching Hentified. I don't know if you've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Hentified is on Netflix. It is about the gentrification of East LA.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a husband and wife couple that wrote this series. It's a series, and they're Mexican.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, we need to have something that, especially like Caribbean American people. I was like, this would be really great. I said, too bad I don't know how to write.
African. This is a show about an African woman who's an immigrant who.
Oh, Queen, is that the Queen Sono?
Girl, I don't know. Yeah, okay. It's like there's so much. There's so many
Content.
stories to tell. I have my own stories. I can interpret other people's stories. So, let's go. Come on, writers, show up. Let's go.
Right. So I was like, well, maybe I'll learn to write and I can help write, or maybe I can find someone that's in our community that can do it. I don't know. But if you haven't seen Hentified, please check it out. It is really, really good. And it employs a lot of people of color. So definitely check it out. But thank you so much, Christine. Does anyone have any last minute questions? Everyone, please, I know we're all going to be watching Lifetime on Saturday night. We have no place else to go. So we might as well all watch together and check it out and let her know what we thought. I know it's going to be amazing. I've been singing Clark Sister songs for like 3 weeks now.
Nice.
Stop singing. I just bust out in song on the phone with my sister. She's like, oh yeah. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on the show again. And next time, hopefully we'll be talking about the musical. Yeah, yes. Hopefully we'll be talking about the musical because yes, it sounds like a really great musical. And plus I love musicals, so it would be awesome.
It's the Black La La Land.
Yes, the Black La La Land, which I still ain't seen the other one, so maybe by then I'll see it.
It's okay, you can wait for mine. Let's go.
Yeah. Alrighty then. You guys can find her online. It's C Swanson. Wait, what's your handle?
44.
Say it again. It went out.
C Swanson 44.
44. Thought so. Okay, so you can follow her Instagram and Twitter. That's her name. And Kelly said she's been singing Clark Sisters all her life. But thank you so much, everyone. We will be back on Wednesday with Dr. Cindy Duke, who has another amazing story and actually a Hollywood connection too. But we'll talk about that on Wednesday. And thank you so much. And thank you, Amara. And I will see you guys on Wednesday. Bye.
Thank you, Dr. Renee. Bye-bye.